Bonjour, everyone, and welcome to the Paris Wedding Show. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce Molly from Love Story Films. Molly and her partner Luke are absolute masters of capturing the essence and emotion of luxury destination weddings. With a keen eye for detail and a passion for storytelling, Love Story Films is a blend of artistry and elegance. Molly shares her experiences and insights on creating cinematic wedding memories that last a lifetime right here in the Art of Romance in Paris. Here's Molly from Love Story Films on the Paris Wedding Show. Molly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a true pleasure to have you. I really let's talk about this from the start like that. It's out of the window. I had one of the most amazing wedding experience this year, and believe me, I do a lot of weddings, and you were part of it. This was a magical wedding taking place in the famous Chateau Villette in France, which is a very, very, very famous place. But I had the most amazing experience looking at your video and what you produced. And I was actually amazed by the results. So, congratulations for this. First of all, I wanted to really, really, um, yeah, ex- express my gratitude for having this kind of result and see the result that you did. So, let's start with the congratulations. How about
Thank
that?
you so much. Thank you so much. And truly, it really is such a collaborative effort from every single vendor involved. I mean, without you giving your incredible dialogue and delivery from that wedding day, truly, we would only have, the vows to and toast to pace that film. But those audio clips that I have of you speaking throughout the wedding film truly and just your accent really just allude to that Parisian culture and the romanticism that really you bring forth with each delivery that you do. It just really brought it full circle for us. So thank you for all that you
I
do.
was I was not expecting that level of modesty, but it's probably what happened with the elite professionals. So let's dive in more into love story film. I really I had the pleasure to meet your partner on the day, and
Yes.
yeah, can you talk about how you started, who you are, etc.?
Yeah, so when we started our business 12 years ago, my husband and I, Luke, had just gotten married. And I had this background in broadcast journalism. I was just nominated for an Emmy. I was working on a lot of different documentary works at the time. And people in the film genres kind of know that there's really not a whole lot of money in documentary work. You're working really long hours. You're paying for a lot of flights. You're doing really a lot of interviews like this, but you're paying for all of this. You're flying to them, setting up camera gear, and I just thought, there has to be another avenue that I can take that can produce high-end quality heirloom moments and tell a story. And it took Luke proposing to me for really all everything to come full circle for me and to really dive into the wedding world. And I thought, wow, I think we could really produce some really incredible cinematography in a whole other different perspective through weddings. And planning our own wedding together, I was really, fortunate to have so many filmmaker friends of mine attend our wedding. So we really had all of them kind of pitch in and, film our wedding documentary style, which was kinda cool. But after we were done, Luke and I had already been together for oh gosh, 15 years prior to that. So we've been
Okay,
together for 22 years. It's been a long time. And so we
inspiring,
just really, yeah, it was a really long time, high school sweethearts. And
nice.
we just thought, let's just set our wedding gift registry for all of our guests to help us buy all of our startup equipment. And with that, yeah, Love Story Films was born really right after we got married. And um, going to college, going to Arizona State University, both of us, I really made such great connections with sorority sisters and, all the girls that I was working with in broadcasting. And so I had this plethora of women just starting their, wedding planning. So I really started with all of their weddings right out the gate,
Mhm.
practicing with them. And then it really just snowballed into where we are today, and now we're, just so fortunate to have some of the most incredible filmmakers from across the world working for us, and, we now have assistants working with us and content creators, and it's really just grown into this brand that is
Yeah,
so much so outside of, like, just Luke and I now. And so I think that that's something that is, exciting and also reflecting upon, like, how we got here. We wouldn't be where we are today without, again, the vendors and the community that have really shaped our business and allowed us the opportunity to capture these incredible moments across the world, from the planner referrals to obviously the incredible bride and grooms that we're so fortunate to document and tell their stories, but from, you just being up there and giving such incredible deliveries, it really takes the entire vendor team to produce these films, and we're just so fortunate to really work with the best of the best.
I agree that it's a lot of teamwork and nothing happens with only one or two persons. It's really yeah, very very big teamwork on the day. I was there on that special day in Villette, and what amazed me is, I mean, by the way, the one of my previous guests, Akeshi, produced
Yeah,
this event, which is an amazing
love
planner.
her, love her.
Yeah, and what amazed me when I saw your results, your video, um, is I was there on the day. The day was already amazing. It was full of plenty of full details and thoughts, and everything was prepared professionally. But what amazed me is your edit and the result that you produced. I could rediscover actually the day and the couple and everything. So how? My question is, how do you? What's the artistic direction that you decide? And it's very interesting that you come from documentary and all that, because it explains a lot. How do
Ye
you sit down and edit and decide what part are we taking, what part are we not taking? What does the process look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, even with my initial phone calls with our bride and grooms, that's always usually their first question is, do I choose music? Do I need to provide anything? And we're so hands off. We really like the day to unfold naturally. I feel like the less is more mentality of an approach of a wedding really works well with the caliber of events that we're capturing. I think that they have so much going on throughout the day. There's so many cooks in the kitchen, if you will. The less that we can be directing and hands on, obviously, for some, bridal portraits and things like that, the better result that we get. It really just allows for everyone to be natural and relaxed in front of the camera versus posed and stiff and
Yeah.
big eyed, like, I'm not sure what you want me to do. So that's really our approach, when we're attacking the wedding day. When I sit down to edit, really, I don't go in with any preconceived notions of like, okay, this is the wedding song, this is how I'm going to edit it. I really like to live the day through like fully. And then as I'm driving home that night, oh my gosh, you should see the notes on my phone. I'm going through all of the audio. I'm going through all of the incredible moments that I had witnessed firsthand take place, whether that be something the officiant said. Sometimes, it's just the officiant's verbiage of what we have to
Mhm.
piece together their film. So I'm kind of going through that mentally of like, okay, this was said, this was said, this was said. And those key audio clips are what I'm going to use to start off their film. It really, um, summarize their love story quickly, and that will be the audio track that I lie down on top of the B-roll of maybe their first look or her walk down the aisle or whatever um, incredible moment that I think showcased just kind of the top of the line of their wedding day. That's kind of how I like to open wedding films. With Tier and Beau, we were so fortunate. This is not the reality of every single wedding, but we were just so fortunate and blessed to have 3 day or 4 days, if you will, because we filmed them at the Shangri-La, their
Mhm.
incredible, welcome party, which was just over the top and so much excitement.
Amazing. Yeah.
And it was really neat to tie in your audio, even though you weren't speaking that day.
Yeah.
everything that you had said was just so beautifully articulated with the Parisian culture and beauty that the audio clips that you said, I was like, wow, this really summarizes and it just plays so well into the footage that we have. It was really, really unique to pull that audio. And that was really my first time working with 4 days of footage
Yeah,
and putting all that together.
you had some dancers as well
Yes. Oh my
from
gosh. Just
cabaret. That was a really really amazing wedding. I'm glad that
and
it inspired you to edit and
yeah.
yeah, I mean, how do you prepare for such a big celebration? Do you have requisites, technical requisite, I guess? So how do you plan
So
this?
so really, we're working hand in hand with Akeshi. I mean, she is a godsend. Truly, if any
Absolutely
fans
amazing
are
planner.
listening to that, she is top notch. Truly will not only take care of her couples, but is really so cognizant of everyone that she's working with, from the
Absolutely.
florists to the videographers to you, yourself, and everything is so interluded together that we're so blessed to be able to work with the best professionals. So with that going forward, we really talked to Akeshi so many times and Tiara leading up to that day that I knew we needed a third videographer. So
Mhm.
again, just kind of our brand and how we've built it out. We are so fortunate to have so many different styles of cinematographers. And so going into this, I knew that the cinematographer that I wanted to fly in with us, I was like, you're coming with, because a lot of times when we're capturing such a huge
Yeah.
production, Luke and I might be with Tiara filming her getting ready while Luke is filming Beau getting ready in a separate part of the chateau. And then all of this is happening while guests are arriving. So not only do Luke and I need to be two separate places, but
Mhm.
we also need that third or fourth cinematographer to be capturing guests' arrival. And
Absolutely.
at
The
Chateau,
arrival was amazing, by the way.
oh my gosh, those guests. I mean, does it get any more cinematic? It felt like a movie. I was
Yes.
like, this is just it left me speechless. It
Yeah.
truly left me just
That was
speechless.
very, very special. Being in Villette, which is an amazing place, many
Yeah.
times before. I'm not saying that that the weddings that I've been witnessing before was worse or better or anything, but that was nothing like this arrival. So I
No,
understand
no.
that you wanted to have someone special just filming this. That's important.
Yes. Yes, and when you're really diving in and not only am I thinking about, like, what heirloom am I going to produce for my couples, I'm thinking about all the vendors that worked so tirelessly behind the
Yes.
scenes to bring forth this, vision to fruition, and when you're putting that countless amount of time and energy, it's like you don't wanna be the one to drop the ball, and so I
Of
think
course.
that us just providing that, that third or fourth cinematographer to really tell out that story on behalf of all the other vendors that were there, it just really ups the ante of what we're able to provide, not only for our business, but for everyone else's business going forward. If they're able to use that as a show reel or to showcase to their couples, maybe they have another couple getting married at that chateau or a certain
Absolutely.
delivery that you told, like, it really just kinda trickles down, to, everyone that was there, and it's really a humbling thing, and it's also very daunting sometimes of like, "Okay, how
Big
can I
responsibility. Yeah.
showcase" Yeah, how can we showcase everyone who was a part of that and make sure that we do it in such a beautiful and, unique way that they'd be, proud to showcase on their own website, so we're
Yeah.
always thinking about all the things, but, yeah, really, really proud with the end result of this one.
Like I cannot say more and more compliments about this one. I'm totally obsessed. My girlfriend is a little bit tired of me talking about this wedding, but I just can't help it. It's really really nice. So how do you balance? Because I've seen the video again, and you're capturing such like candid and original moments
Mhm.
without sounding too planned. Because I can see that that was original. How do you do that? Is this something that you kind of plan in your mind or have some
Yeah.
trigger questions or trigger I know that videographers and photographers do that a lot. Do you have some gimmicks that you say to the couple so that they can relax themselves or how do you do that?
I think that truly is one of the most, like, I think eye-opening questions, and, when I'm talking with my couples, even before the wedding day, I think that they're kind of caught off guard by who I am as a person, because I think if you were just to look at, like, our Instagram, I think it's so curated and so polished, and these, like, over the top weddings that, unlimited budgets that we're capturing, and I think the people behind the film and behind the brand, when you get to, meet us, I think
Yeah.
that they're so taken aback that we're just so approachable. We're
Yes. I agree
so
with that.
like,
Like,
we just wanna have fun, we wanna be there with you, and I think that in itself really breaks down a lot of barriers and breaks down a lot of walls of, like, "Oh my gosh, I have to be perfect. Oh my gosh, I have to be this," because I'll cuss, like, I will break it down, I will just be having fun with our couples, I'll laugh with them if something, like, if a first look, sometimes we've had, just the most insane things happen, and I think when they see that nothing is ever that serious. It really isn't, and anything can be restaged. I think that just relaxing and just having so much fun with us, it really allows that organic chemistry to happen, and I truly think it was, like, our background in documentary work and getting to know people on a human to human basis. I think when you're really looking at it from that perspective, that they're not like,
yeah.
actors. They're not these people that, aren't that you can't have a conversation with. When you break it down to human level and you're just there with them to help showcase their story, I think that that's what allows us to really record and document these unique moments and allows them to really, break down those walls. So I think that that's something that really allows us to get to know our couples quickly. And I think being a husband and wife team as well, and providing that certain level of just kind of relationship that they're like, wow, they joke to, like, Luke and I are always joking together throughout the day. Luke is like such a guy. And I think really, like, you know, just connecting with the grooms on that level, that he's out flying the drone and the guys are like, yes, let's go fly a drone. And, the girls and I are talking all things makeup or like celebrity gossip or
Of
fashion,
course.
like all the different things. So it just really allows us to be ourselves. And I think through that initial, meeting that we have and then, meeting them on the wedding day, I think when I'm asking them to, like, "Hey, I have this idea, let's do this, and we're gonna shoot it from XYZ angle, and then I'm gonna need you guys to redo it again, but this time I want you to look up as we're shooting the drone shot." And they're like, "Yes." I think it allows them to really see what we're the end goal that we're achieving and something that's just unique to that couple, because we've already gotten to spend so much time with them and can understand, like, I think what they'd be comfortable shooting versus, like, some of our couples are like, "Oh, no, we'll hold hands, we'll peck, like, pet kiss, but we're not that couple that's going to dance in front of you," and we recognize that very early on. So I think it's just, again, breaking it down to human level of, communication and understanding who they are as a couple really allows us to, tell their story more freely. So kind of a round, long circle answer there.
No, no, it's true. It's true. I was smiling while you were talking about this because what you say reminded me actually of the first interaction that I had with Luke, who was an unknown person for me. And like you said, it seems like you're really the same as a couple because he was very approachable and very genuine. When I come into a wedding, often the thing that I hear is that I have a calming attitude and I make people less nervous and all that. So I try to I'm not forcing myself. It's just the way I am. And I was glad to see that Luke was basically the same from
Yeah.
not knowing each other to speaking about the difference of weather between France and Arizona in about 2 minutes. So that was a very fun interaction, and it was putting me a microphone to record me and all that. That was very natural. So seems like
Yes.
you have both the same approach, but it really comes down to being a couple for so many years, I think, and
Yeah.
have the same vision, working together, and a lot of experience as well. So a good
Yeah. And
cocktail.
yes, a very good, and I think that kind of, like, alludes back to the fact of the professionals that we're working with, I feel like we've all been doing this for so long that we each have, our different approaches to the wedding day, but it's such a high caliber level approach from every single vendor involved that anymore it's not nerve-wracking. We already know that everyone's going to produce at such a high quality that it really just makes it enjoyable because we get to step back and get to have conversations with you and Akeshi and the florist,
Absolutely.
the makeup artist, and really get to know kind of a little bit of the backstory and make these connections that otherwise, sometimes we're not so lucky. Sometimes you walk in, like I'm sure you've been a part of, and you're like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
this is not the wedding I thought it was going to be." And it's
absolutely.
you're trying to bring that calming presence to really just bring everyone down. Because when everything's heightened, the bride and groom get heightened, and I think that that kind of, in turn, takes that wedding film or the end result in a direction that you don't necessarily want it to go. And
Yeah,
so, I think having professionals around you that really provide that calming nature and professionalism is just invaluable. And shout
I
out to
agree.
Akeshi. She brought together the best of the best.
Yeah, she will probably listen to this podcast because she's been very kind enough to subscribe and just listen to my new episodes. She's always giving me some feedback. So hi, Keshi, if you're listening to this, you made this happen. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes.
Um, when you talk about this, it resonates a lot because this is what I tend to say to my couples. I will never say them. I will never say no to them. I give them my best option, my best advice. But at the end of the day, I always tell them you have to work with vendors who are yes people. In the mean, like they
Mhm.
have to be very very creative and able to provide what you have in mind. Obviously, not everything is possible most of the time. Uh, but you can always like work the extra mile to do something. For example, on my ceremonies, some couples are telling me, oh, we don't want to change the way you work or your structure or anything like that, but we would like to have this and that. I'm like, tell me first, what do you want? And then I'll tell you what's possible, because it's a wedding day after all. It's not a day job or anything. It's something that lasts forever. And
Yeah.
especially in videos and all that, you need to be able to work with people who are happy to do it. And yes,
Yes.
people, this is something that I really appreciate. And I felt like we were all yes people in that wedding, everyone.
Yes. And the whole entire weekend, I mean, for those, 3-day
Wow.
weddings are they're a beast. Like,
Yeah.
it is a lot, and I think that everyone is there for the pure love and joy that they're putting forth, and seeing that level and everyone putting forth that yes and that energy is it's contagious. Like, you're on
Yes.
a high. It's just you're
Yeah.
truly like, let's go. Like, this team is bringing it and we are going to bring it just as hard. And it really, that culture. And I can't really think of any other profession that
Oh yeah.
you were literally thrown in together the day of a wedding, one of the biggest moments in someone's life, and expected to work together when you've never met your coworkers in your life. You have
Yeah.
no idea what the energy or what the venue is going to be, or, XYZ. So there's so many different factors, but that being said, when you have that level and that team and those yes people, just like what you were saying, together, it just goes off without a hitch every single time, and it's truly remarkable.
Did you face any sort of challenge when you film weddings for like for 4 days celebration like
Oh
this?
gosh. Honestly, it's just so we're recording so much, like the storage and the amount of footage that we're capturing is just it's astronomical. It's truly insane. So I think that the biggest hurdle that we capture is just after that event. So like at Shangri-La when they did their welcome party, we were there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So that's 6 hours of footage. So I'm going straight from the Shangri-La back to our hotel room and I'm uploading all of that footage.
Everything. Oh my
So
God.
yeah, that's it. That time is your worst enemy, honestly,
Mhm.
on those type of events because you're trying to sleep. Like, we're also going from a huge time zone change So we like to fly in like 3 or 4 days prior just to get acclimated to the time zone, do B-roll, like go out and shoot time lapses and drone footage and all the other things that kind of like help tell out that story. And so we have all of that footage, we're uploading all of that. And then, yeah, the wedding weekend hits. So again, you're shooting it, you're coming back to the hotel room, uploading all that footage. Then I also have our other videographers that, I've flown in, uploading their footage and
Wow.
then charging batteries. So basically, it's just time is your biggest enemy there. So you just have to make sure that you're cognizant of like how much time you have and uploading all that footage, backing up footage, charging all of your camera gear. Like it's a lot and getting taking
Yes.
care of yourself because I think
Yeah.
a lot of people at this level, we're not robots, like, we're also human and, we don't just, like, wake up ready to go, so taking care of yourself, like, eating a nutritious breakfast, packing snacks, packing energy drinks, packing because some
Absolutely.
days, like this wedding is such a great example, we started filming them the next day at 8 a.m. We
Wow.
had, started filming, so we went 8 a.m. all the way until 1 a.m. the next day.
Oh my God.
So, that's a wedding day, that's like a that's it was a
And it was a
long
lot of ground to cover as well. I mean, the Chateau
Yes.
Villette is pretty big and wow.
Huge. Oh my gosh. And then you're talking fireworks and then the after party. And so you have to be performing and have that energy to really because like the worst thing that I think can happen is if your energy dips, your couples feel that, your vendor teams feel that.
Yeah.
You have to keep on that level and keep that energy going. And especially when it hits, the nighttime reception and everyone's dancing and partying and enjoying themselves, you have to bring that energy with as well. Otherwise, you can see them be like, "Oh, is everything okay? I know you're tired, but are you good?" So,
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of your pre-prep of a wedding day is like the best thing that I think the best tip I can tell other videographers or other vendors, like bring snacks, bring energy drinks, bring whatever you need. Like, you'll need it because you
Yeah.
don't know how long that day will go. And then so we went from that welcome party to, that incredible wedding day that was over the course of almost 24 hours, it felt like. And then
Unreal.
day after, we had the day after farewell party and overlooking the Eiffel Tower, which was just incredible. But again, after that wedding day, we came home from the wedding, uploading footage, charging batteries, charging light stands, getting ready for day 3. And so we by that point, everything kind of hurts, and you're just going on the like, it is just pure adrenaline at that point. You're just like, "Okay, we're gonna round out this film, let's go." And Tier and Bo actually hired us for 4 days of filming, so after that farewell party, we actually followed them to, Positano in Italy. So
Italy, Positano.
yeah.
Not
So
too
we hopped
bad.
on a plane I know, not too bad, not too, not too bad of a gig there. So
Yeah.
we hopped on a plane and off to Italy, we went with them and, filmed them in Positano on a yacht, and it was just spectacular. So really
Beautiful.
rounded out their
Yeah.
wedding film.
While doing a trip from Paris to Positano and filming a wedding celebration is kind of a good taste of Europe if
Yes,
you have to
yes.
try it. So you were talking about advice that you would give to videographer. So what advice would you give to couples when they look for a videographer, photographer for their destination wedding?
Oh, that's such a great advice. So really, I think when they're choosing their cinematographer or their vendor team, typically they've already hired their wedding planner, especially on these massive destination, like 3 to 4 day destination wedding days. So really lean into your wedding planner, lean into your wedding team because again, like I kind of starting from when we started this conversation, it's going to be such a collaborative effort, and you need to make sure that your wedding team has either all worked together or has a similar approach or maybe, knows each other throughout the wedding industry. And I think in having that class A team together, everything is just going to run smoothly. So, um just really lean into your other vendors that you're working with and see who they like to work with, who they've shot with before, and it's just going to produce the most incredible result for them.
Absolutely agree with this. This looks like an easy tip, but
Yeah.
it really highlights the time and the amount of experience that you have filming and also collaborating with people. I definitely agree with that. So
Yeah.
before we wrap up, what's next for Love Story Films in the world of
Oh,
luxury destination weddings? Do you have anything that you want to share for your future projects or anything for 2024?
yeah. So really kind of going back to when we first started this conversation, we've really kind of developed into a brand that is kind of synonymous with, destination luxury events. And we're really leaning into that now. So Luke and I really are just kind of overshadowing all of the incredible filmmakers that we have on our team. So I think for 2024, 25, and going forth, we're going to have such incredible cinematographers and assistants and content creators working with us. So I think we're going to be shooting a lot more and a lot more frequently to where we have teams in place across the world on any same weekend, and super exciting, and it's really neat to have the people that we have in place and just that trust with our couples. So we're really excited for the future of that.
Well, congratulations once again for the amazing quality and human persons that you both are through your brand. I think it reflects. And thank you again for making the time together today. I know it's very early in Arizona, so thank you
You're
again,
worth
Molly.
it. Thank you so much for having me. It was just such a pleasure.
It was a pleasure too, and I can't wait to see you both in Europe somewhere. You pick Paris, Positano. I'll be there, both.
We'll be there. I love it.
Thank you so much, Molly, and have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the French Wedding Show. If you want to know more about our guest today, you can go to the show notes and find all the relevant links. Also, have a look at my website, theparisiancelebrant.com, also in the show notes. If you want to start to plan your wedding ceremony or elopement in Paris or anywhere in France. I look forward to hear your ideas. Thank you again so much for listening, and see you soon for another episode.